Okay, so by now you guys have done mole-to-mole problems only. And today you're going to learn a new kind of type of problem. So we're going to go mass to moles or moles to mass. And when we're doing that, we're going to highlight our mole wheel again. So if you see molar mass here and molar mass here is what we're going to highlight with a new color. So take your new highlighter color, highlight that molar mass on both sides. With that new color. So you should have something like this. And then down below, you're going to highlight where it says molar mass. And then use atomic masses from the periodic table to calculate molar mass. Remember, we did that all the way back in atomic theory. We learned how to calculate molar masses of compounds. Okay, so I am going to have you take this worksheet, and I'm going to do this first one with you. So I have taken the liberty of bolding what you're supposed to underline and what you're supposed to circle. So if you look, it gives you the equation above, and it says how many grams of hydrochloric acid are consumed by the reaction of 2.5 moles of magnesium. So we're given 2.5 moles of magnesium, so that's what you would underline. And then it's asking for grams of HCl. So on your mole wheel, you should identify you are starting with moles of A, which is moles of magnesium. And we're asked for grams of B, or a new substance, which is hydrochloric acid. So we're going from moles of magnesium to grams of hydrochloric acid. So that's the pathway that we're going to kind of take here. So we're going to start, this is a two-step problem now. Every time you have an arrow, that's a step in your math Stoich problem. So we're given moles of A, we're going to use mole ratio first, and then we're going to use molar mass second, okay? And if you look, this is all A, or your starting substance, and this is all B. So if we're on the B side and it says molar mass, that's molar mass of your second substance. So make sure you keep that in mind. Okay. So we're going to take 2.5 moles of magnesium. And we know, again, that we have a two-step problem. So we're going to already set up our train tracks to have two steps in them. Now, let me write this above. Okay, there's our reaction. So if we're using mole ratio, we're going to use these ratios in the front. Since we're working with magnesium and HCl, those are the two substances that you're going to talk about. We want to cancel magnesium moles down here. So we're going to put our 1 mole of magnesium on the bottom, and that comes from this imaginary 1 right here. And then our 2 moles of HCl on top. And that takes us from moles of magnesium to moles of hydrochloric acid in this step. And then from here, our next step on our mole wheel is going from moles of B to grams of B using the molar mass. So if we look on our periodic table, the molar mass of HCl is 1 plus 35.5. So we're going to have 36.5 grams is 1 mole of HCl. So that's something to kind of jog your brain and remember how we did that all the way back in October. Okay, so my 36.5 grams of HCl is going to go on top because I need to cancel my moles. Okay, and I'm going to label this HCl and HCl again so that we can make sure that we know what we're talking about here. the very end of your problem. You should have canceled all of these units except for what you circled in your problem, which was grams of HCl. So we are left with grams of HCl, so we know that we had to have done something right. Now at this point, we're going to take 2.5 times 2 times 36.5, which I'm going to do really quick. Times 2 times 36.5. So 182.5 should be your final answer. And make sure you label that grams of HCl so that we know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so the next type of problem that we're going to do, we're going to skip down to the back side. So we're going to do 3 right here. So this one says, I now have 25 grams of acetylene, which is C2H2, and then I'm asked to find moles of water. So okay, there's my equation on your page. We're given grams of this, so I'm going to just write this below it, 25 grams of this. And we're asked to find moles of water. So sometimes it helps to kind of identify what two substances you're working with so that you can ignore these two things, kind of, okay? So I'm going to start with what it gives me, which is 25 grams of C2H2. And I know on my mole wheel, I'm going from grams of A to moles of B here. Grams of A, moles B. So I'm going to start with my molar mass in the first step, and then I'm going to end with my mole ratio in the second step. So again, I know this is a two-step problem. Okay? So molar mass of C2H2, if you remember, we have 2 carbons, which is 12 each, and we have 2 hydrogens. So we have 12 times 2 plus 1 times 2. So we're going to have 24 plus 2, which is 26 grams, which is going to go on the bottom since we need to cancel grams. And then my 1 mole goes on top. Okay, so grams here cancels, and that's my molar mass step. And then my next step is going to be mole ratio. Now, since I'm trying to get to moles of water, my moles of water is going to go on top here. So this 2 moles of water is going to go on top because I need to cancel out this 2 moles of C2H2, which goes on bottom. So again, you need to make sure that whatever the question asks for is what you're left with. So we were asked to find moles of water, and we are left this problem with moles of water so that we know that we did that right. So we're going to take 25 times 2 divided by 26 times 2. Final answer should be 0.96. And label is moles of water. Right there. So I did 1 mole to mass problem. That was our first one. And then I did 1 mass to mole problem, and that was your second one. So you should be able to finish this sheet, and then I will make sure your sub has the answer key to this as well so that you can check that if you need to do that. I hope that helps.